Hi everybody and welcome to part 3 about how to solve the cEDH ban list, a ban list talk video. This entire video concept began with Hullbreachet seeing a ban, even though I have actually been thinking about this for a while, back in the days when Paradox Engine actually got a ban. Then I made a few other videos about how we should think about banning cards and what my thought process of how to solve and have a casual ban list actually. But now it's time to talk about competitive EDH ban list. How are we going to solve and make cEDH functional? What is my thought process in this? But also I would like to mention that I'm not a divine entity God-knowing master that knows the perfect solution. This is just what I believe in. And maybe I'm halfway right. Maybe there's something from this that other people will be inspired from and take with them, and maybe there's a solution down the structure from this idea that I have. What I've said so many times over and over that people are probably getting tired of it right now is player experience. I've mentioned it through all the different parts of this video series. But this is key here too, just in a different way. You see, cEDH in casual works in a little bit of a different way. In casual you can always say, could you please change deck? You can go to rule 0, you can say, let's have our own unique ban list. In competitive Magic you can't really do that because it's set in stone what the rules are, and you have to... Okay, actually you can have your own little tiny cEDH playgroup that have their own little ban list, but when you're looking at it globally and when you're looking at things like tournaments, you're gonna always look towards the current cEDH ban list, or sorry, the current EDH ban list there is, and the current EDH rules that the rules committee are setting. And there just isn't any way around this. The underlying problem or the structure is that the cEDH mindset or the player experience, take me for example, I want to play a cEDH match inside the EDH ban list. It is a mindset. If we actually create our cEDH ban list of our own, and this rules committee actually want us to do this by the way, that cEDH ban list would have players in it that are playing it casually, and there are still gonna be players playing the normal EDH ban list competitively, because you don't make a format casual or competitive by saying this is casual or competitive. You make it by having players in it that have the mindset of either casual or competitive, and normally you have both. To make a short example of what I'm talking about, there are people that are playing football competitively and casual at the same time. Therefore, football can either be casual or and competitively, depending on the players that are currently playing the current football match. Which makes the solution of solving cEDH quite differently compared to solving casual. But there are actually a few interesting solutions, and some of them are gonna be personal depending on what you're actually looking for individually here. Let's begin with looking at this. So here we have Goddess Tireless Pilgrim as the commander. Here we have Hullbreachet still inside the deck. Here we have Flash inside the deck. Ancestral Recall, Mox, all these, Time Vault, Tularen Academy, and Caracas. You're currently looking at a no ban list EDH. Yes, there actually is a format that is called no ban list EDH, where it actually has a ban list, but you're pretty much allowed to play close to everything. And here we have a different Goddess Tireless Pilgrim deck that doesn't contain those cards. In fact, if you look at the main board, down here at the bottom, you only have 80 cards, and if we scroll up, it belongs to the Conquest format. This is still a Turbo Goddess deck with the Conquest ban list instead. These two are namely two different EDH variants that are aiming for different kinds of power level, but I would also like to mention different kinds of player experience. Let me actually give you an example of what I'm kind of talking about right now. Here we have Hullbreachet back again, the card that have recently gotten a ban. Now, believe it or not, but among the cEDH community, there are people that are happy and there are people that are unhappy, because we have different opinions of what is kind of fun and, importantly now here, what cEDH should be. I've basically asked a bunch of people, and if I've asked you, I would like you to know that I haven't asked you to make a debate with you. I've basically just asked you, and I've read all the comments below in the video about Hullbreachet getting banned. the opinions differ quite heavily. And no one is right and no one is wrong. It is just a matter of opinion whether or not this is something for the format, because the people that want to have this thing banned are usually in the mindset of they want cEDH to look a certain way, and the people that want to see this still legal, they would like cEDH to look in a different kind of way. For example, me, I enjoy the no ban list kind of philosophy. I would have liked to see cEDH grow in power level. I like when they print really busted card that pushes the power level further up. But there are people that really dislike that. They would like the cEDH power level to go down a tiny bit to a more balanced level. And there's nothing wrong with that, there's just a different kind of opinion. Something I've said in a previous video in this video series is that I would like both worlds to achieve what they want without sacrificing the other. So, the first individual solution is that you could basically leave the cEDH or the entire EDH current ban list, and instead of like creating your own ban list and instead of like pushing a new community to create a new ban list, I think it's better to support all of the existing ban list communities such as Conquest, such as No Ban List. I think there might be other EDH variants communities out there that are trying to grow, and if they have something that looks interesting to you, try look into it and see if this is more compelling to what the kind of cEDH ban list you would want. I have actually decided that after Hullbreachet got a ban, I'm going to actually start playing some cEDH no ban lists. So you're probably gonna see some videos popping up here in the future once I find some players to play against. But that is definitely a format that really looks compelling to my kind of enjoyment. I have actually played Conquest before, and there is a gameplay video from that in this YouTube channel somewhere. I might link it down below in the description, but I will definitely try to play that again, because it's good to have like a different kind of feeling sometimes. Even though I probably enjoy cEDH no ban list a little bit more, I will still probably like Conquest a tiny bit too, because a different feeling sometimes for variants is good too. I have actually played Conquest before. There is a gameplay somewhere in this YouTube channel. If I find, I'm gonna link it in the description below of the video. But in any case, I think it's good to have some difference sometimes and some variance in game feeling. So I will probably play some Conquests again, even though I think I will prefer no ban list overall. And that is a small change that you can do, basically go to a different kind of format community if you're unsatisfied with the current cEDH ban list from the rules committee. But this doesn't really solve cEDH as a whole. There's still the global structure you could actually tweak and improve. Because there are other things that are beside the ban list point that you kinda need to talk about and fix. For example, kingmaking. That is a very tricky thing to actually talk and deal with, and it's a problem that cEDH kinda wanna solve as good as possible, where in casual they don't really care, because in casual you're almost supposed to kingmake, because it's almost part of the fun, depending on the playgroup, so to say. The global solution that we kinda need is a podcast debate between content creator and other content creator, basically talking about how cEDH should be played and how cEDH should look like. And then basically have that for a long, like forever period of time, to basically create a form of social structure guideline on how cEDH should be executed. Let me make an example. Here we have Pact of Negation, and here's where cEDH community probably agrees to 100% that if you can't pay for the pact, you aren't allowed to actually cast Pact of Negation and interact with someone that is trying to win the game. You're supposed to accept and basically lose, because that is basically controlled kingmaking. But then if you draw a different scenario with different parameters in it, you're gonna notice that cEDH players' opinions will differ quite heavily on how it should be executed. And the only way to basically figure this out is to have a various podcast debates between people with different opinions, with different arguments, having a healthy conversation about how it should potentially kind of look like, and basically draw different scenarios and talk about different outcomes on how things should be executed. And this could also touch a little bit about the ban list and a little bit about how cEDH should look like. To give you an example of that final outcome, here we have a modern, and don't quote me on this, because I'm not really a modern player, so I could be wrong on the details here, but I've heard something, and this is just an example now, that modern is supposed to be a turn 4 format. And what that means is that Wizards of the Coast will ban or try to solve it in a way to ban decks or affect decks with bans that are faster than a turn 4 format. This is very hard to do and they fail, but I understand why Wizards of the Coast fails, and I don't really blame them for failing, because trying to ban something so that everything is a turn 4 format is very tricky. But the attempt, the mindset of trying to view modern as a turn 4 format is the right pathway, because with that you have a criteria of what is going to be banned. You have basically constructed a picture of what modern should look like. And personally, I think we need that to solve cEDH globally. Just create a picture globally from various conversations between players, how it should look like, what should be the kind of power level, how should kingmaking be executed, so that everyone gets into the same mindset. This feels kind of good, I should massage my muscles a bit more. With the same mindset, so that everyone is close to the same picture, and then we will have a more constructed format, and then we could even... actually still, even if we somehow achieves this, I mean, cEDH is still gonna follow the rules committee of their ban list, so I guess it doesn't matter in the end. But it could be cool if the entire cEDH community just managed to somehow debate towards a final picture of how cEDH should look like. That was gonna help tournaments quite heavily, because once everyone has basically talked about how you're gonna execute kingmaking, you're supposed to do this in this various kingmaking scenario, you're going to do this in the free-for-all multiplayer scenario that you enter, and just have a kind of picture of how it should look like, I think tournament organizers are gonna have an easier time, and judges in cEDH are also gonna have an easier time. I hope this little EDH ban rant have brought you some form of inspiration or good thought process of some kind. I've said this several times before, but I truly believe that communication is key. And something we can basically all try to do is just have more conversation with each other in a healthy level when we're listening to each other, and just trying to see if we understand the other side's opinions and wishes. I mean, it's hard to find Magic players that don't like to talk about Magic. However, that's the end of this video and this little video series as well. We will see if I follow up with some potential podcast debates with people and see if we can just get a conversation going amongst a variety of players. In any case, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next usual video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you like what I do and you wanna support me, feel free to share my videos or even checking out my Patreon page. Also, purchasing cards from the TCG Players website using the affiliate link in the description below of the video will also help the channel grow. So a big thank you to all of you.